So a little bit about these two runners, just to explain a little bit the uh, path that has led them through this tournament. Give me 1 second. Sorry. Just to give you guys a little bit of a heads up of how these two runners have made it through the tournament. These are their first and second seed through the tournament. They finally met in the semifinals, where Fortify was able to beat Grubdog, send him down to the lower bracket. Grubdog then won his next match and came right back to go up against Fortify again in the upper bracket. So this is a bit of a rematch, but like I said before, it is a best of 3. So it's really going to come down to who is feeling on fire today, who's going to have the best time making it through the route, who's going to land all the tricks that they need, etc. And yeah, so we'll be getting started here in just one moment. Let me make sure I have let the runners know that they're good to go whenever they're ready. Cool, and I think we are all set and ready to go. We'll be getting started here in just a moment. So as I mentioned before, this is the Fortify was the top seed and Grubdog was the second seed in the overall bracket. Actually, let me double check that real quick. Make sure I got those numbers correct. Yes, I do. Okay. Fortify was the top seed. Grubdog was the second seed, which means these two runners were coming into this very, very good through the qualifiers, and they have continued to prove that throughout the entire bracket. Like I said, the only one that was able to take Grubdog down to the lower bracket, which led him back to these grand finals, was actually Fortify. So a little bit of a rematch here in that sense. I should note, since Grubdog is coming from the lower bracket in the Thoha bracket, that means that should he win this best of 3, they'll be moving on to a second best of 3, which will be scheduled for a later date. But if Fortify is able to close it out here today, then that will be it, and we will have our winner. And we are off. So a lot of things we'll be looking for here in this first little section throughout this first little climb and everything. I always like to watch the exact timings on load times here. We should see pretty similar. Yeah, it looks like Grubdog got maybe about half a second faster of a load time there on the start, but that means that load times can be a factor in Metroid Dread, but usually they're not big enough of one to make a massive difference overall. But we'll see how they get through this first climb here. Very, very solid movement from both runners so far, which is to be expected from players of this caliber. All right, we're on to our first real climb of the run, and then they'll be heading up to their first trick, really, that we're going to see. Is called the pseudo wave. If you're unfamiliar, if this is your first time watching Metroid Dread speedruns, first of all, welcome. Thanks for being here. But what we're going to see here is we're going to see both Grubdog and Fortify do some little sliding movement around to try and pop that bubble from the other side. They're going to do another one here to be able to pop this bubble from the other side. Having a little bit of difficulty getting this. This trick is difficult. Wow, and they ended up getting it almost at the same exact time. That's amazing. Now, both runners will be moving over to the right. What popping those bubbles from the wrong side has allowed them to do is head to Corpius straight away. Corpius is more or less the third upgrade you would get playing casually, but we're going to go ahead and get that first. And of course, they are both playing on rookie mode, which means they have a lot of extra missiles available. Unfortunately, it looks like Grubdog actually having a lot of difficulty landing his missiles there. Does manage to get through that first phase eventually, but Fortify getting a little bit better aim with his missiles through this Corpius fight. This is a common reset point if you're going for like a personal best, but it actually looks now like Grubdog has been able to get maybe a little bit of an advantage here. No, it is going to be Fortify that is able to get that Phantom Cloak first, but Grubdog literally seconds behind. I think that was about a second and a half behind. Very, very tightly paced runners. So we'll be continuing on. The next upgrade we'll be getting won't be for a little while, but we do have some really cool tricks coming up. I'll try to explain them as we get there. They've got a little bit of platforming to get through, and this atom room that they'll have to get through as well before we get there. So the next trick coming up is one that we call water skip. Essentially what they're going to have to do, as you'll see in a moment here, slide off of an edge, use Phantom Cloak as they slide, do some fancy aiming and bouncing off of a slope shenanigans in order to get over to a spot where there will be a little missile pack. And getting to that missile pack, the little platform that they get up to there will allow them to skip a whole section where they have to go down, go through a water section. Moving around in water, especially before you have gravity suit, is very slow. So we don't want to do that. We want to be able to just go straight on through. So they come down through here. Looks like both runners will be taking the little cinematic there. There is a way to essentially skip those throughout the entire run, but it requires a lot of very precise movement, and it's not super worth it. It saves only a few seconds, so it's fine to just go ahead and skip that. But here we go, coming up to water skip. Fortify gets it first try, very nice. Grubdog on his now second try. Oof. Third try for Grubdog, still very, very good to be able to get that quickly. But that does mean Fortify now has a little bit of a lead. We're coming up to a second trick here, which I call water platform skip. It's basically going to melee off the wall and try to use that to get a little bit of extra height. There, Fortify got it second try. We'll see how Grubdog does. First try for Grubdog, very nice, claiming back just a little bit of that time that he lost on the water skip. And they will both be moving on over to Charge Beam. So a few important things to understand about Charge Beam in this race and in this run. There's going to be a lot of fancy quick charge shenanigans that happen. You'll probably see that right away here. If you begin a charge shot and jump as you're charging, so you do a spin, you will get what's called a quick charge. You can also do that by turning around. That means that you, instead of having to wait for the entire time for your charge shot to actually fully load, you're able to go ahead and get the charge shot off a little bit faster. Fortify going ahead and grabbing this first E-Tank. Grubdog will as well. That's a common one for runners to skip if they're feeling super, super confident. But in a race setting in the grand finals of this tournament, no issue whatsoever for runners taking that extra E-Tank. A little bit of extra safety, especially there's a hell run coming up here once they get to Cataris. That having that little bit of extra health will be very, very important. Ooh, Grubdog having a little bit of issue with that platforming there for just a moment, but is able to make it through. Those climbs can be really rough if your timing gets off a little bit. The positioning of where the enemies are will be off as well. Fortify, unfortunately, taking the walk of shame through that door, but that's fine. Just means he didn't get his slide input off in time. Grubdog makes it through, no problem. And now we're doing, again, just a bunch of sort of running around in a circle here. We have to go all the way down to the bottom of this section to hit a switch, which will then open up a door, allowing us to go over and face the first Emmy and pick up the spider magnet upgrade. You can see how close they are at the moment. I'm going to try and get a sense here in terms of the actual timing based on when they regain control. Fortify at just shy of 6:14 and Grubdog at just shy of 6:19. So only about a 5-second difference between these two runners right now. Take a little time here, hang out with our friend Adam. We're not going to see Adam too much throughout this run. In fact, I think there's only one more, if I remember correctly, only one more Adam room after this. So, you know, you got to spend all that time with your friends that you can. Just kidding. All my homies dislike Adam. And we're going to move on to this next trick. This is called Maga Skip. It's similar to the water platform skip from earlier, but a little bit more complicated of a setup. Second try for Fortify and first try for Grubdog. Very nice. Grubdog just finding ways to claw back a little bit of that time that he lost earlier on the water platform skip. So these runners are now once again basically neck and neck. Here's Fortify in the control center room. Grubdog entering as well. And they're going to just go ahead and use missiles on the brain the whole way through here. It is a little bit faster until you have wide beam to use missiles. Once they have wide beam, we won't see that happening on the brain fights anymore. So it's really just this first one that they do that. And let's see how they do on the Emmy kill itself. God, they're so close right now. The platforming through here is very precise. If you can land it perfectly, you can get a very, very quick kill. It looked good for Fortify, but an extra shot went off. He might have to hop over the head. Ooh, he went for it. He's just going to slide under. Grubdog does have to hop over the head, so Fortify is going to gain a little bit. Oh, no! Grubdog got hit. Oh, that is so unfortunate. That's going to be not the biggest Emmy death to have throughout the run. He's showing off his Emmy in the process. Yes, that's they just do be like that sometimes. So that'll be probably about a minute time loss for Grubdog there. But there's lots of ways that a minute can be saved throughout this whole run. There's going to be 2 big tricks coming up. One in about 10 minutes and another one much later in the run that will allow for the potential of a big shift in timing. Grubdog playing it a little bit more safe the second time on that end. He's going to go ahead and clear that out, no problem. Fortify, moving on. He's on his way over to Caterus now. Yes, I would assume that both runners are going to be going for the screw attack short boost route in this run. At this level of play, that's just my assumption. It is possible that we... I don't know why Fortify was having trouble grabbing that wall for a second. It is possible that we could see someone decide to go for a safe strategy. However, the early space jump route is much slower. It's about 4 to 4.5 minutes slower compared to a quickly achieved screw attack short boost. So that's the sort of thing that you would only do if you really felt like it was necessary or you really wanted to take it incredibly safe. They both early space. Oh, that is interesting. I thought I'd seen both of them do screw attack short boost before. Interesting. Well, I guess we're learning together here today. Huh, well, that is my mistake. So thank you very much for the insight on that. I try my best to check up on every runner, but I do watch a lot of Metroid runs, and sometimes I get them mixed up. I myself, I'm one of the verifiers on the SRC leaderboard, so I see a lot of runs. And occasionally I just get the runners mixed up, so I apologize for that. At any rate, we are now moving on through Caterus. Grubdog will be entering Caterus. Fortify entering the last Atom room of the game.
Uploading data.
Well, what should be the last Atom room of the game. As I'm assuming they're both doing Atom skip, but I've now learned that I should not make assumptions about the routes that runners are going to go on. But we do have a pretty tricky damage boost coming up here for Fortify in just a moment. Grubdog will be getting there before too long as well as a hell run that will occur right after. So we will see how Fortify makes it through this section. Gotta hop up over here, go through this door, go through one more, and then we will be on to the damage boost. Gets the setup. Very nicely done with that damage boost. That is, I believe, the fastest possible way to get up through that section. Saves a bunch of time, about 2 or 3 seconds. And we're going to ride across on this little elevator, and then we will have the hell run. Fortify worried me there for a second. I thought that thing was going to hit him, but he decided to melee it instead. Here's the hell run. Oh, got held up there for a second. Did get a health pickup, so he should be fine, just barely. It's hard for me to see. I believe that's 64. Yeah, 64 health. So not the closest shave it could have been, but that was close. Looking at the damage boost for Grubdog, he lands it as well. Nice Emmy positioning for Fortify, by the way. That's one of the easier positions to get past that Emmy. And Grubdog now coming through the hell run. This hell run, for how scary it can be. Oh, he got hung up there for a second as well. Did get a health pickup. And he'll make it through in even better shape. Very, very nice. But that, for how scary that is, wow, very nice movement there from Fortify to get past that Emmy. That was rough positioning on the Emmy for Fortify there. Decent positioning for Grubdog. I'm just not going to finish whatever that previous thought was, because at this point I've lost it. I'm too distracted by how well these runs are going for, or at least the movement through this section is going for both runners. Fortify, I actually wasn't looking for a second, but I'm assuming he did not go for the pseudo wave on that switch. He definitely didn't get it if he went for it. We'll see now how Grubdog goes through here. Grubdog also having the unfortunate enemy positioning, but both runners able to make through that no problem. No attempt at the pseudo wave from Grubdog either. There is a spot essentially right below where Grubdog is right now. There's a spot that you can shoot through the floor and hit that switch from the other side, allowing you to save a little bit of platforming. But you have to do it in a hot room, and you only get like 1 or 2 shots. And if you don't get it in those 2 shots, then you've wasted a bunch of time. But anyway, here we are in Adam Skip. Grubdog will not be far behind. We'll see how Fortify does here. So essentially what he's having to do here is buffer his wall jumps so that he actually jumps off the wall slightly before reaching it. Then time a melee and a respin to be able to get up to that blue section up at the top you see up there. We're going to have Grubdog in the same room here in just a moment. And this is one of those sections, like I said, where a lot of time can be picked up. Looks like Fortify having a little bit of trouble with it. This is a very difficult trick to land. Now, both runners in this room, meaning literally whoever gets this first will be in the lead. Oh, that looked so close for Fortify. Looked close for Grubdog as well. That looks good for Fortify. There it is. Fortify is able to make it through, but let's see. Grubdog's got some potential to save, to make up a bunch of that time he lost from getting hit by the Emmy earlier. Looks good. There it is. So still a little bit behind Grubdog is, but not by so much. He's actually been able to pick up a whole bunch of time in the race there. Not by nearly as much as he was after getting pinged by that Emmy earlier. So both runners still definitely very much in this. We saw the nice pseudo wave jump from the first try. we saw the very nice pseudo wave from both of them, just basically saving them the time of having to slide underneath that little pillar there so they can hit the switch from the other side. Fortify sneaking past the green Emmy. See if he gets the timing on that jump. Of course he does. Very nice. The positioning, we're going to see it from Grubdog here as well. The positioning on this green Emmy is always, it looks a lot scarier than it is. As long as you move quickly, even remotely quickly, you'll be fine. Nice little jumping there from Grubdog as well. Both of them be able to grab that jump. Saves just a little bit of time on the cycle of that elevator so they don't have to waste a bunch of it getting up and over. Second E-Tank for Fortify. I have never seen a runner skip that E-Tank. I don't think anything except for minimum items. I've never seen a runner skip that E-Tank or 0%. So not surprising that he goes ahead and picks it up. Grubdog will do the same. And we are on our way over to Dairon. All right, let's get a checkup on our timing here. We are 16:29, closing the dialogue box for Fortify. It looks like Grubdog will be about 30 seconds behind, which is a big time. Actually, not even that. It was 16:45, so that is only about 15 seconds behind. Able to pick up a ton of time on the Adam skip. All right, here we are in Dairon. We're just going to take a quick little loop around through here. We need to pick up wide beam so that we can get back around over and get Morph Ball. Metroid Dread being one of the few Metroid games in which you do not get Morph Ball very early in the route. In fact, in a casual playthrough, my first casual playthrough, I don't think I got Morph Ball until I was about an hour into the game. It's one of those where, like, every time I go to pick up an upgrade, I was like, and this will be Morph Ball, right? And it never was. Until finally you defeat the green Emmy. Wow, Grubdog actually having some issue with the platforming there. Had to rage a little bit about it, I guess. Dropped down to the bottom, but he's going to be able to get through there now. There's a little trick that he was trying to do that allows him to, instead of spending a whole bunch of time on the grapple wall or the spider magnet wall, able to jump off of the slope and get up there a little bit faster. But was just having a little bit of problems. He is going to allow himself to die here. So I guess it seems like we may be... well, we'll see what happens here. Fortify picking up wide beam. And Grubdog's going to just give it another shot through that section. So now through the wide beam blocks, the obstacle that shouldn't be nearly as much of an obstacle as it is. Nice damage boost from Fortify. I've only seen that actually done once before. Grubdog just going to hang out up there. So it looks like the rest of this run we will be seeing from Fortify's perspective, which is fine. It is, as I said, a best of 3. So Fortify now moving along to the head back around to get the morph ball upgrade, like I was saying. And we'll be heading back down and around. Heading up through here, we'll be popping that block, heading into the brain control room center area. I never remember the exact words that are used to describe this thing. So we'll be heading up here in just a moment, taking this out, and we will fight the green enemy. Going for the safer kill on the green enemy. There is a possibility that you can jump down and do what's known as Professor Stupid and take that out. But no need for that at this point. Fortify is just going to go ahead and knock out that green enemy. Yeah, so for update for the chat, so the current status that we have here, Grubdog was having a little bit of a hard time at the start of this run. He ended up getting stuck on the section where you see kind of frozen on his screen right now for a little bit longer than he'd liked. He'd had a little bit of a issue with some of the earlier parts as well. So for this run, because this is a best of 3, he just went ahead and decided to let Fortify take the win. So Fortify will, I believe he does actually need to finish his run because... I don't think it's an automatic win for him. I believe he does actually need to finish his run, but I'm not sure exactly on the tournament rules there. But either this one will be going to Fortify. But it is, like I said, a best of 3. There's it's perfectly fine to go ahead and say, yep, this one's not mine. I'll go ahead and come back for the next one. Yeah, like I said, I'm actually not. I'm not one of the tournament organizers. I'm just here to talk into a microphone. So I don't know the precise rules around this sort of situation. So yeah. About to hit the Varia escape here for Fortify. See how he makes it through here. Very clean movement. And now we have Varia suit. We watch Fortify try short boost. Yeah, exactly. All right. So next stop for Fortify will be Kraid. Give me just one moment here, everybody. I'm trying to check in with the tournament admins and figure out what our procedure from here is. All right. Well, until I hear anything else, I'm just going to keep commentating this, and we at the very least get to watch Fortify go through everything. So let's see how Fortify does here on Kraid. Kraid can be very, very tricky and very RNG dependent. So we'll see if he gets a good run through here. All right, what we're looking for here is for him to throw his fingernails. That's not what he's going to do. He's going to do this move instead, which is a frustrating one. Does mean that he'll get a little bit of time to recharge his missiles or refill his missiles before phase 2, and still very well done on that. He's going to go for the single wall jump, looking very, very nice. That was very good. I believe it can technically be done slightly faster than that, but it would be superhuman to pull it off. So that was very well done from Fortify. Getting some nice RNG at the start of the Kraid fight as well. We want him throwing fingernails because not only does it not require you to move around to dodge them, but it helps you recharge your missiles as well. That was an incredibly quick Kraid from Fortify. Very, very, very nicely done. And we have Diffusion Beam. All right, next up, in the early space route, we'll be heading over grabbing early grapple. Grapple beam is just kind of, it's a little bit of a jaunt out of the way, but it is necessary for the route to grab this at this point. And it's not too long of a route differential. It only takes about a minute to run over and grab it. So we might as well grab it while we're here in that sense. There's a couple of tricky jumps that we'll see here in just a moment. A couple of coyote jumps that they can be deceptively easy. They're one of the first tricks that I think a lot of runners learn when they're learning this route. especially if it's their first way of getting into Dread speedrunning. But it's one where the muscle memory could occasionally mess with you. So I've seen like world top runners accidentally fall in the lava on these. So I'm assuming that's not going to happen to Fortify, but we'll see how this goes through here. Very nice on the first jump. Essentially has to slide through. Here he's going to slide through to a low coyote jump. Very nicely done. Like I said, those jumps they're not like hard. Anyone can land those jumps. The timing isn't super difficult, but it is slightly different timing than pretty much any other coyote jump you do throughout the game, with the possible exception of the one for water skip at the very start of the run. So occasionally it's just the timing just gets a little bit off on those. All right, now nice little weave there for Fortify. And up over here to grab grapple beam. Very clean movement through there. So now we've got a bunch of little running around to do before we can go pick up bombs. But having grapple beam makes a lot of this movement pretty slick to watch. There's a couple spots where you can use the beam to get yourself a little bit faster movement. This is part of why. So comparing this route to the screw attack short boost route, or SASB route, grabbing grapple this early does actually save you a little bit of time. So it does recover a little bit compared to the other route. However, short boost is still about 4 minutes faster. So, but again, that's only if done perfectly. And it is important for every speedrunner to understand, like, what tricks do you feel confident in and which ones do you not. Oof. Fortify was trying to do there's a couple ways to handle that jump there. One is to unmorph and grab that wall so you can then jump off of it. But he didn't quite get the unmorph input, so he fell down into the lava. Either that or he was relying on the auto unmorph. The auto unmorph in Metroid Dread can be... Oof. The game is just punishing him right now. Auto unmorph in Metroid Dread can be a little bit finicky. Looks like he got a good positioning on the Emmy there, so he doesn't have to worry about sneaking past the yellow Emmy. Yeah, so update for chat. Grubdog had kind of a rough time at the start of his run, so he went ahead and forfeited this one. I'm waiting to find out what is happening from here. But in the meantime, we're just watching Fortify finish out his run, and he's doing a fantastic job so far. Yeah, I don't want to like name any results until I get confirmation from the tournament admins. So, like I said, I'm just here to talk into a microphone. Fortify is the star of the show at the moment, so we'll just keep an eye on his run. Picked up bombs just now. We'll be heading over to Gavaran for the first time. Get a little wet and wild for a minute. I always love watching how runners move through that section. Ooh, almost got the hole in one. Looked like he was trying to get up through the opening there, but wasn't quite able to get the momentum that he needed. And we are on to Gaveron. Gavoran? Gavorin? I'm actually not sure how that's pronounced. Just say onto the jungle. Works. Also, this whole time I've been saying the wrong name anyway, because this is Berenia, not Gavaron. We're not heading to Gavaron yet. We'll be there a little bit later. Right now, we're just coming down here to... let's see. We just got bombs, so next upgrade that we're headed for is Flash Shift. After Flash Shift, we'll get Speed Boost, and then we'll be on to Gavaron, or the jungle. All right, we have a little bomb juggle to do here. See how he does. Very nice, very nice. Managed to, even though he did land before he went through the door, he managed to land on the exact spot where he does not close the door behind him. So he's not going to have to sit around and wait for the door to open here. Saves another few seconds. And that is a very, very, well, at least I find it very, very tricky bomb juggle. Let's see if he goes for the pseudo wave method or if he's just going to go all the way down to the bottom here. Ah, this is the new pseudo wave. This one was just discovered a couple of weeks ago. Much easier setup, does not require a pause buffer. And that left side one for the pause buffer is much more difficult as well. Nice damage boost to get up here. He's going to go ahead and set up a water bomb jump. Ooh, just a little bit short. Nicely done on the second try. That water bomb jump, on second try, it does still save a little bit of time, only like a second or two. But not, honestly, actually, I'm not sure of that. Now that I say that, I'm not sure of that with that new setup and that new path of going through there. Just because all it really saves you is going around to the left a little bit while the water is falling. You can just kind of do a little bit of platforming over on the left side of that room and flash shift over. Or you can do the water bomb jump and hop right up like that. But that is a tricky water bomb jump. It's the trickiest one in the route just because you have to do it at that sideways angle. And the positioning and the timing on it then becomes a lot more precise as a result. So a lot of times you'll see runners just, especially if they're doing the pseudo wave method, just go ahead and go around to the left because it is even if it is faster on the first attempt, it is a risk. All right. Next up, Yellow Emmy. Yeah, I have to say, the movement in Metroid Dread just feels so good. I've speedrun 2 different Metroid games. I've done Dread and Zero Mission, and I love both of them dearly. But Dread just feels so good to play. All right. Yellow Emmy getting absolutely shredded right now. He's barely even going to pop his head out there before his faceplate pops. Absolutely destroyed. And that will get us the speed boost. And we're going to start seeing some really, really cool speed booster tech throughout the route from here. All right, here we go. Like any good Metroid game, Dread decides to give you speed booster and then immediately some cool stuff to do with it. So we're going to see him come up here and use that speed keep, continue up through here. Goes into Morph Ball form there just to skip a cutscene. If you don't go into Morph Ball form, it does this really cool cinematic, like, look at Samus, pan the camera around, watch her soar up into the air thing. Which is great on a casual playthrough. It's really awesome and immersive and makes you feel like a badass. But it's slow, so we don't want to do that. First shot on the hardest grapple in the game. Which is only the hardest grapple because it's at a slight angle. All the rest of them, with the exception of the first one on the ceiling immediately after you get the grapple beam. That one's also a little bit tricky just because you don't see what you're aiming at until you're in the room. But that grapple block tends to be the most difficult grapple to grab in a hurry in the game because you're moving very fast, it's at a slight angle, and then you have to pull it immediately afterwards. All right, let's see if he goes for the speed keep here. Looking like it. Nice setup so far. Looking very, very good. Very nicely done. All right, and we're on to the quiet robo fight, as I like to call it. First speed boost done very well. Very clean. Very, very clean. Another little speed boost section through here. We'll see if he decides to pick up this missile. I'm assuming not. Yeah, he's not going to grab that one. He did take the path that I like to see runners take also. If you get through that speed boost section and you time things right, you can still be in speed boost as the morph ball as you slide into that left section, which allows you to break those speed blocks, fall down through the floor, and it's just very slightly faster than what you see a lot of runners doing, which is just stopping their speed boost and going over to the right. It's like a handful of frames at best faster, but still cool to see. All right, got some fun little platforming through here. Ooh, this is not a speed. That's actually not a speed keep I'd seen through that little section before. That was cool to see. There's a lot of ways. So that the section that he's going through right now, there's a lot of different ways you can navigate through it, and it's honestly more about what's the route you can remember than what's the fastest route, because the difference is very, very minor, like half a second tops between the like 3 or 4 different ways that you can go through that section. So it's really just about what you remember and how you can get through that section and what you feel like doing. And that was a very cool little mix of flash shifts and a little speed keep through there. So now we're heading over to Berenia for the second time. We're going to see another nice little speed keep section through here. Can save a whole bunch of time. There's a big, long, especially pretty close to the start of Berenia, there's a long morph ball tunnel that you can either speed keep through, or you can roll through slowly and lose about 10 seconds just by the virtue of how long it takes to get through that tunnel. So we'll see how Fortify does here. Pick up the speed. Very nice. That's that tunnel right there. It just takes so long to roll through. You can technically hold the speed keep through that little bit of jumping he did, but it's kind of unnecessary. It's going to hop up here, save the Shine Spark and get the Ball Spark through there. Very nice. Both of those done flawlessly. All right, and this is called Drogiga Skip, or Drogiga. I don't actually know how you're supposed to pronounce the name of that boss. Either way, we're not going to see the boss. We're going to see him just shoot that through the wall. Goes with a no cloak method. That was so slick. Goes with a no cloak method up through there and just kind of hangs off the walls, flies up through. It is very difficult to pull that off as cleanly as Fortify just did. That was impressive. All right, now we are finally up to Gabaron, the one that I thought was Berenia earlier because I don't know, forget the names of the zones or something. But anyway, nicely done with that speed boost. That one's actually tricky. You see a lot of runners go for it and lose it. And we're gonna have another Chozo Warrior fight here. Sorry, a Chozo Robo fight here. Gets the Shine Spark to start it off. And you notice he's actually sliding into the Robo just before he does an attack, and that's because the damage that you take from bumping into him is less than the damage you take from getting hit by his attacks, and so then you just use the invincibility frames afterwards to just kind of ignore the attack. Very clean movement through here. And super missile. So the way that he did that movement, he should have no issue getting back out of this room before the door closes. But it's always fun to see anyway. Yeah, no problem at all. And we head up through this bomb tunnel. We're gonna wave hi to a whale on the way through. Hello. And we are heading on. So we're just gonna take a real quick pop over to Elune. I really need a Metroid Dread zone pronunciation guide. We're gonna head over to Elune real quick. We're just popping over here to pick up Plasma Beam and also maybe slightly accidentally release all the X-Parasites and doom the entire planet. But that's fine. Samus is here, and we know how Samus deals with planet-wide issues. Spoilers, it never ends well for the planet. A little bit of bomb platforming through here, doing those little hops to avoid being hit by the bomb and knocked into the air, just saving a little bit of time. Another bunch of little platforming through here. He's actually going to bounce off of some of these enemies. That second one he didn't actually want to hit, but the other ones he's sliding into because, again, bumping into them and then using the iframes is a little bit faster than, well, either killing them or trying to walk through. And he specifically does the slide because the recovery animation from the slide is faster than if you were to walk directly into them. Now we have Plasma Beam. That'll allow us to open these doors with the sort of green shield in front of them. It also means that Samus now does a lot more damage to robotic enemies. This is a very cool speed keep. Another very cool speed keep from Fortify. I had a little bit of trouble with the grapple there, so he's not going to quite get the save on the Shine Spark to kill that eye door. But here we are, on to the first Chozo Warrior fight. And so we're going to see just beam spam here for the most part, because the beam will do more damage. We might see him weaving in some missiles here and there, but only if he's comfortable with it. No, none needed whatsoever. Not a problem. So there is a cap on turbo. The cap is, wow, I should know this off the top of my head. I believe it's technically around like 13 hertz. Which is the point after a whole lot of testing, it was discovered, is the point where it is an advantage for people who don't want to mash, but people who are very good at mashing can still kill things faster. And we also see a lot of turbo runners choosing not to weave missiles in, just to out of a desire to make it seem a little bit more, or make it feel a little bit more fair on fights like that. Either way, very, very, very nice speed keep through here, executed flawlessly. Look at that. That was beautiful. Another water bomb jump here. This one much less tricky because it's just straight up. This room is a pain though. Ooh, actually almost got hit by that bug creature. But we're fine. We're gonna open that door. Hope that the Emmy isn't here. He is not. I have to say, out of all of the runs I've commentated, I have seen the Emmy be there once. Only once. But whenever I'm actually running this game, it seems like he's guaranteed to be there. So, a little bit of a mix-up on the jumping there. That means it's going to take a little bit longer for the blue Emmy to come up here to the top. Normally, the way that you move through that section is intended to make him get there very quickly. Is he actually... What is the Emmy doing? Oh, he's going to come up from the bottom. So he's going to have to ride this over to the other side. That's unfortunate. Well, we get to see a blue Emmy kill that we don't normally see from a sideways angle. Fortifies the casual strats in chat. Look, it's fine. Yeah, so the movement, for anyone who's not familiar, the movement in that room after you exit it, the goal is to get up over to that first top right section very quickly, so that the Emmy, normally the Emmy is like climbing down towards you and towards where you exit. If you move quickly though, he will turn around and climb up through that top left door, which was what Fortify was first aiming at. He got a little bit hung up on one of his jumps, which meant that it took him longer than he wanted to be able to get up over there. Which meant that the Emmy got far enough through the room that it decided to continue on its current path instead of turning around and going back over there. So that is why that happened. Also, if anyone's curious, you may have just noticed him in a speed boost and basically stopping on a dime right on top of the platform. Normally, if you are in a speed boost like that and you just let off of the inputs, Samus will do this like slide animation where she like ends the speed boost and slows down. But if you just real quick tap the L button to aim, she will instead just stop exactly wherever she's standing. All right, we are now on to the early space jump. See how he does here. This is a very precise pseudo wave. The timing is very, very particular. He's going for quick shots, but the timing is, I believe, very slightly off. If he accidentally kills this, then he will have to leave the room and reset it. He's actually using a setup that I haven't seen before. Or a timing that I hadn't seen before, so that's interesting. So instead, he's going to come down over here and do the bomb jump method, which I haven't gotten to see a runner do in a while, so this is cool. There's some very precise inputs there. Unfortunately fell down. So he's going to have to wait for those to come back into place. And he's doing a lot of very particular movement. Ah, just barely missed it. The goal is to have these bomb blocks in such a way that that one reappears underneath him just like that. Very, very nicely done. Took a couple tries, but it looked super cool once he got there. And now we got space jump. We're going to come on down through here. You will freeze that enemy over there. Use it as a platform to drop a bomb and move along through here. And now we're heading back down. So this is actually an elevator that we've been through before. This was the elevator we went through immediately after the Quiet Robo fight. So we're going to see him go through some familiar sections here, but he's going to take a slightly different route because next up on the list is Screw Attack. So we got to get back pretty much all the way back to close to one of the earliest parts of the game that you go through. We're basically going right past the charge beam door throughout this routing so that we can get over to the area where Screw Attack is. So what you saw him do there, so there is a speed keep that you can do through there. There's a very precise like slide in, shoot into, morph into, fall off of a ledge that needs to be done through that section. He missed that, so after he opened the door, he actually turned back around so that he could get enough space to start up his speed boost again, going through the next room. Save a shine spark, use that to get through faster and keep the speed keep going. Another little bit of speed tech through here, just to kind of look cool. We used to see a lot of runners actually do a downward shine spark there, but it turns out that's actually slower. So instead, nowadays, we just try and keep that speed through there as much as possible and just drop. Going through a little bit of a minty fresh section here. We're going to have another one in just a second. Ooh, actually almost got hit there. And this is where you would see Screw Attack short boost if that was the route that he was doing, but we don't need to do that. We have space jump. Gonna set up a bomb jump. I love seeing him prime the bomb jump off of that little lip. Just saves a little bit of time. And now he's doing some weird physics shenanigans. That was very, very quick and clean. Doing some weird physics shenanigans by sliding essentially off of a ledge, bumping himself off of a corner, and kind of hitting the space jump at the surface of the water, which eventually allows you to get out for reasons. Now he's got Screw Attack. He is going to have to do that same little physics shenanigans trick here in just a moment to get through this section. We're going to have another bomb jump here. This one, it looks like a water bomb jump, but it actually isn't. And here we go again. He's basically rubbing off of that like little lip on the corner there, which for some reason messes with Samus's physics enough that he's able to just sort of space jump directly out of the water. And then this here is one of my favorite pseudo waves in the run, mostly because it took the Metroid Dread community embarrassingly long to figure that out. We were doing so many other things to get through that section for a while, and then eventually someone was like, hey, you know, you can just like charge and crouch and turn around and shoot it. And so that's what we do now. So our next upgrade will be Gravity Suit. We've got a little bit of meandering around to get there. We basically have like 3 teleportals to take. They're all pretty close to each other. But we'll be heading back up into Gavron and then back down into Berenia through these teleportals. Basically doing the world tour at the moment. Does a quick charge there to open up the door. And we used to do a bunch of speed boost shenanigans through here until someone figured out that you could literally just screw attack through that, so it's unnecessary. But we are going to have a neat little speed boost section coming up here in just a moment. Once we get through this green teleportal. All right, got a few bomb blocks to get through here. Then a couple of these, I don't even know what these things are. Weird plant things that hate ice. We're going to go through a nice little speed boost section. Gets the block break while saving the shine spark, which is some fairly particular timing. Gonna hop right through here and no problem at all. That's a very, very fun shine spark speed keep section to go through. Now we're gonna hop up through here. Now the gravity suit is through like a underwater tunnel that's down below us. I'm sure there's a doorway that you could go through somewhere that would get into that, but why would you do that when you can just engage in a little bit of light vandalism, drop whatever that thing is all the way down to the bottom, break the tunnel, and walk through. Samus doesn't have time for doors. We just vandalism. It's the way. Popping that block. There's no reason to pop that, just for swag. I will always support the swag strats. In fairness, I don't think this planet's chances are very high, so breaking a tunnel or two here and there probably doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. And now we have our first double robo fight. So what he's going to try to do here is position himself in such a way that they will both end up on the same platform. It doesn't have to be that top one. Having them like this right here works just as well. And he's trying to just position himself so that his beam shots are hitting both enemies, because that is by far the fastest way. Not the absolute cleanest, but still very clean. He was able to keep a good, solid stream of shots going on them for the majority of that amount of time. So very, very nicely done on that double robo fight. Vandalism %. Yeah, exactly. All right, back into Gavaron. We're going to head up to fight Golzuna. Golzuna, so there's a lot of really, really precise speed tech or speed boost tech that goes into the quick kill for Golzuna. He's going to try to time it so that he can get 3 total speed boosts off on Golzuna. The first one will be here in just a moment. He's going to try and save one here. Get behind him, hit him again, and then actually run around and try to get a third save. Ah, doesn't quite get it. That is unfortunate. So the ooh, does he get the backup? He got the backup. Very nice. That backup is so difficult to get. That is so difficult. That's actually more impressive getting that backup than getting the actual fast kill. Just because, so the reason that is when you hit him, when you hit Golzuna, it knocks him to the side. So you have a little bit more space to actually line up the Shine Spark, to the save for the Shine Spark. He did not have that going out. Like, he had not just hit him. So he was literally just using the space that was available in the room, which is, by the way, like a couple of pixels of enough space to be able to pull that off. So that was actually insane. All right, we're off to our next section, Ferenia. We're not going to hang out here too long. We're just kind of sliding around for a minute, and then we're going to pop down and we're going to bully my best buddy SQ. That was unfortunate. So there's a trick you can do where you just kind of tap R while you have a shot saved, while you have a charge saved when you're in the middle of a Shine Spark like that, to be able to get the shot off and open the door. But he actually shot it just very slightly too early, so the door wasn't quite on the screen yet, I think. Got the reverse grapple there, which is essentially a pseudo wave, but with grapple beam. Now we are popping down to... Sorry, we were in Hanubia. Now we're popping back down to Ferenia. Little bit of platforming action through here. There's a couple ways you can move through this. Looks like he's going the upper route. Again, this is another one of those areas where the difference in timing isn't massive, so it's really just whatever platforming you feel the most comfortable with. There is a possibility of an Emmy being in the way here, and in fact he was. Ooh, he actually got spotted by it. He's trying to bait the Emmy to come over here so that he can hop over him. Okay. That is not a method of approaching this that I've seen before, but it does work. That particular Emmy, there's a few ways you can go through that section. If he's in that spot, he can be really, really rough to try and get past if you're going super fast. So Fortify slowing down for a second and making sure he gets past him rather than worrying too much about going for the ultimate speed strat. There is a way that you can just do a Shine Spark through there and just hope that he's not in the wrong spot, but that often leads to just smacking face first into him. And now we're hopping over here. We're going to go down here and fight SQ and pick up Storm Missile. But this is usually the point where I like to ask, I bet you think you've been watching a Metroid Dread speedrun, but in fact, you are watching Sonic the Hedgehog. Very reminiscent of every Dr. Robotnik quick kill. Nice, gets the double, the 2-cycle kill on the X-Parasite as well. So now we have Storm Missiles, which will allow us to open up a couple of doors we need to get through. Storm Missile also very useful for a couple of setups on some of the Chozo Warrior fight, the 2 Chozo Warrior fights that we have left in the game. We'll see those once we get to them. We are not too far away from the end at this point, maybe about 10 minutes left in the run. But first we have a double robo fight here. Again, he's going to charge up his speed boost coming through here and hop into that guy. Ooh, he's actually using a storm missile setup. That's interesting. So that's going to allow him to get that yellow or that gold Chozo robot out of the way very, very quickly. That was very cool. That was a very cool way to handle that. The gold Chozo has a lot more health than the gray one does. So that's why we use the Shine Spark on him. And then, as you saw, he also used the Storm Missile setup to be able to just do some extra damage, make sure that gold Chozo dies quickly. It does mean that the gray one dies a little bit later, but it was not that much later, as you saw. All right, we are on our way over to take out the wave Emmy. Very nicely done, quick charges through that. And this is the easiest brain fight in the game because it's over now. A Shine Spark into a Screw Attack, and that's all she wrote. So I'm curious if he's going to go for the deep blue method of the kill here. We'll be able to find out in just a moment. Yep, looks like he is. So he's actually going to shoot that switch a second time. Oh, he missed it, unfortunately. What he was going for there was to shoot that switch a second time, which would cause the water to stop moving for some reason. Instead, he's going to go for the kind of OG method of the quick kill on this. He's going to hop up here, shoot the Emmy for a little while. Then you saw he moved that wide beam block a second ago, so there's be a little bit more space as the Emmy gets close. There will be a little bit more space down at the bottom. And we'll go ahead and pop that faceplate. He actually almost got it even on the first platform. I don't know if that's possible, but it would have been super cool to see it. It was very, very close. He's just messing with me, yeah. So I should also note the difference between the quick kills, the two quick kill methods is not very big on that Emmy at all. It seems way faster because you're spending less time waiting around for the Emmy to get to you. But on the next split, it ends up being very slightly slower because you have a little bit more platforming, a little bit more rolling around as a more fall to do to get through the next section. Especially the deep blue method, because you're then doing that like underwater, which means the Emmy takes a little bit longer to get to you because he's slower underwater. So the difference overall is not actually very big between those two quick kill methods. So yeah, just catching up anybody who is just joining the stream as we're about to reach the end of this run. So in terms of the grand finals, Grubdog had a really rough start and decided to go ahead and it is a best of 3. He decided to go ahead and forfeit the first one, which is where we're at currently. I have not yet got confirmation of what that means for the rest of this best of 3. But hopefully we'll find out here soon as this run is nearing its end. We are on to the second to last Chozo Warrior fight. You can see Fortify using the Storm Missile setup to be able to get a very, very quick break. You'll also notice that even though the enemy the Chozo Warrior was like in front of him doing that little roar animation, he was charging a Storm Missile instead of shooting his plasma beam into him. And that is his wave beam at this point into him. And that is because he's actually invulnerable while he's doing his little roar animation. All right, We now have power bombs. Getting through this section. Need to do a little bit of a farm there. Actually did not get a power bomb out of that. That's unfortunate. So he's gonna have to take a slightly slower route through here. He's gonna have to farm here for a second to try and get. Wow, he's having a horrible. There's the power bomb finally. Having horrible luck on those power bomb spawns. Does manage to get one though, and gets through that section just fine. We're gonna move on to the gold Chozo here in just a moment. The final Chozo warrior fight starts off with a missile. He's gonna keep doing essentially charging up a storm missile and then firing off a missile if he has extra time. He did not actually quite get that one there, so it looks like he's gonna have to do the parry mechanic there. That's fine, not a problem. And now on to, he's actually just going to keep charging the storm missiles into him. There we go. Now he's actually doing the wave beam spam. Knocked a little bit off kilter by the pathing in that, I believe, but not a problem whatsoever. Still going to take him out. All right, on and up to the. Wow, sorry, completely lost my train of thought. We are on to Bird Daddy, as I like to call him, Ravenbeak. Doing a little bit of a speed keep through there. Wants to drop this bomb as far to the right as he can so that it breaks those rightmost blocks in here. And let's see how Fortify does on Ravenbeak. Very nice, quick gold skip, perfect setup. Now he's going to try and get Ravenbeak over into this left corner, because if he sticks him over here, there's a couple of moves that Ravenbeak won't do, which makes him a lot easier to deal with and a lot just easier time aiming at him. Very nice. I was a little worried about the fact that he hadn't done the sort of slide into aiming thing on that last one, but Fortify, having a better sense of Ravenbeak's health than I do, realized he actually didn't need to worry about that. We're also seeing him once again here, just sort of walking into Ravenbeak right as Ravenbeak's about to fire his shot, because the shot does a lot of damage, just bumping into him doesn't. So he's using the invincibility frames to get through that. Has not gotten a parry mechanic at all. In fact, throughout that entire thing, he never even tried to do the parry mechanic. So Fortify just able to plow right through, and we're moving on to Ravenbeak X and the escape. And yeah, so Grubdog did forfeit the first run in this best of 3. I'm waiting for confirmation on what we're gonna do from here. I do not know exactly just yet, and I'm not sure if Grubdog's plan is to come back for future runs or future in this best of 3 or not. Either way, in the meantime, we're just letting Fortify continue through the run. I'm not sure exactly on the tournament rules, but I do believe that Vicarian in chat is correct. He does have to complete the run for it to count as a win. So either way, we're just about in the last minute or so of the run here. See what sort of escape Fortify can get. Very, very nice movement through here so far. The escape is literally just all about movement and how you handle the literal just mechanics of getting through things. No speed keep through this last bit. It's a very difficult speed keep to pull off that then saves you almost no time, but it looks cool. Does a couple of quick hops there to avoid a cinematic before using the Shine Spark. And now we're on to the last little section here. And there it is. That was a, I believe, 1:19.12 as he crossed the finish line. Very, very nice run overall from Fortify. Did have a couple little hiccups here throughout, but still very, very well done. 1:19 is not a bad time whatsoever for this category. That was very, very cool to see. All right, so we will find out what the status is for the rest of this best of 3. In the meantime, let's see. Let's see if we can get maybe a talk with Fortify or something. I am not sure where we're going from here at this point. We'll figure it out. I'll be right back with you guys in just a moment. Hey, welcome. Congratulations. That was a very sick run to watch.
Thank you. It was a run. It was a game was played today.
A game was indeed played. Yeah, I mean, obviously there was a few hiccups here and there. I was very impressed, especially with some of the backups that you were able to pull off, like on Golzuna, getting the backup on the third Shine Spark. That's so difficult to pull off. So that was very impressive to see.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that one. I don't know what's been up with Golzuna lately. Like as a community as a whole, Golzuna has just been not nice to a lot of us at the moment. Like with B-Dog, with me just now. I mean, I was watching some people the other day. Runs were dying at Golzuna. Like I don't know. I don't know what it is with the boss at the moment, but everyone's just kind of struggling with him in general at the moment.
He's just being an obnoxious big crab and just blocking everyone's runs from moving on any further.
Suddenly, it's December of 2021, and we're learning how to play the game.
Oh man. You also had you had a little bit of a hiccup on the Atom skip for a little bit, but we're able to get through there. I'm not really, like, off the top of my head at least, I'm not recalling too much else that went too poorly throughout the run. I thought it was very impressive overall.
It was a solid run, yeah. Space was I don't know what's been going on with me in early space lately. I specifically learned GES just in case space was being weird, and it is. I spent like 20 minutes practicing it earlier today, and it still was a little meh. But I was confident going into it, but then and then GES obviously is not a fun trick.
Yeah.
But then the Ice Emmy was just that was all me. I wasn't quick enough jumping up onto the platform, so it went down and around rather than coming back up. But that one's on me. So some mistakes for sure. Still a decent run, all things considered.
Yeah, I mean, still
it's a really great
119. Yeah. Yeah, the Ravenbeak was amazing. You had a really solid first gold skip. Got the setup for that perfectly. In the second phase, you were able to just sit there and plow into him the whole time. That was great.
Yeah.
And then you didn't even get a parry in phase 3 and still just shredded him.
Yeah, honestly, the way he was moving at first, I thought he was gonna give me one, but he dropped a sun instead, and I was like, okay, I'll take it, but
What are you doing here?
it looked like you were about to come at me. So
Yeah.
but yeah, good race. Hopefully there is at least one more. I understand we're all very burnt out at the moment. I think that's one of the main issues that a lot of us are having, myself included. At least any percent, maybe game in general, but hopefully there is one more game to come.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this tournament has been going on for three and a half months now. It's been going on for a while. The qualifiers, if I remember correctly, they started at like end of October, early November, something like that.
Something like that, yeah. So
yeah.
a little, it's been going on for a little bit.
Yeah, and doing the same category in the same game over and over and over, it can definitely get exhausting after, especially for like at this point in the tournament. Like you've played so many matches by now. I can imagine. Like
I would like to play Hundo again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would love to see more Hundo again. That which glitch category would you go for that?
Oh, NMG. I'm going for 153 and Hundo NMG.
Very nice, very nice. Definitely looking forward to seeing that. But yeah, I think so. I think our procedure at this point is we have to wrap up between rounds anyway. Just the way that SpeedGaming works, we have to wrap up between rounds. So I think at this point, what we'll end up doing is we will end this round, and we will try to find out what's going on with Grubdog, see if he's feeling like coming back for the rest of them. If he is, there will be more runs coming up in a moment. And if not, then congratulations to Fortify. You will have won the Thoha bracket of the Any Percent NMG tournament.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to going back and hearing your commentary. Yeah,
don't pay attention to the times where I said the wrong zone name like 4 times.
No, it's okay. Yeah, it should be fun. Again, if this is the end of the Thoha bracket, then yay, I guess. It means I can play Hundo. It means I can really grind down goals. But if it's not, hopefully it's not, then yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll definitely hope that we're seeing more here today, but if not, want to give any quick plugs anywhere where viewers can find you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the !R should have my stream link. Maybe it doesn't. But I'm currently live right now for the race stream, twitch.tv/LOLFortify, and feel free to follow and all that jazz. I won't be doing anything of the sort for right now, but again, hopefully we'll be able to play the at least one more game of this set. But if not, then that's okay too. Play some more video games and all that jazz.
Awesome. Well, hey, congratulations again on at least this first round, if not the whole tournament. And hopefully we'll see you again here on twitch.tv/SpeedGaming again in just a little bit. But if not, congratulations and GG's.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, everybody. We're going to go ahead and wrap up for now. But we will see you again, hopefully in the very near future, on SpeedGaming. So thanks again, everybody, for watching, and we will see you next mission.